Welcome back to our next session on Power BI. So in this session, we actually focusing on data modeling using Power BI. So first things first, remember, whenever you start on a blank canvas on Power BI, you want to be on the home button or home tab. As you can see, there's different tabs. This is the file. So this is where you would land up. For example, once you open up your Power BI desktop, and what you want to do then, you want to open a blank report. So from here, we then want to load our data. So this was also covered in our initial videos, which was around chapter 1, where you saw chapter 1 and 2, where you saw how to load your data. However, we will then go over how to load our data today as well. So as you can see over here, we have these different panes. We've got the filter, visualization, and data over here. You can also load your data here, and here, if you're using an Excel file or OneLake, you can directly go over there. Once you click that, it opens up the drop down, and we will say we want to use an Excel file. Then we navigate to our Excel file within our local storage in our PC. Then I want to grab that database or data file using an Excel file. Currently, you can see it's connecting. So at this stage, it's where you always have to be patient and wait for your data to appear. As you can see now, we've landed on the navigator sheet, where now we have to select the tables that we want to add in our data. So we want to add both customer demographics as well as customer spend tables onto our data. We want to press load. Data's loading. You can see showing customer demographics, customer spend. It's creating connections. It's almost there. And now it's loaded our data. As it said, 200 rows loaded. As you can see here, this data pane, it's actually loading to show that data is there. There we go. Those are two tables that are now showing within our data. You can open them up. As you can see here, as age, customer ID, gender, as well as monthly spend, customer ID on the other table. So for today's task, we are going to create relationships, as well as creating calculated columns and creating measures that are also calculated. So using our data, we actually want to do all three of those tasks. So it's part of data modeling, looking at relational databases. What are relationships within our table? So as you saw, we've loaded two tables in our sheet. One was the customer demographic, the other one was the customer spend. So those are two tables that we would in essence want to create relationships in order to be able to analyze it together, because currently the data is in two different sources. But what we want to do, we want to create a relationship so that when we're creating our analysis or report, we see one customized view or summarized view. So basically, you want to summarize both the tables into one. So what we want to do first, once we have our data loaded and correctly, we then want to go to modeling. We click on modeling. Then after we click on modeling, what we want to do now is to actually create a relationship. So we're going to go to manage relationships. It's actually here, it's created. We want to say it's already actually created and automatic. So for example, So this is a great thing about these tools. They actually pick up which which tables actually have unique or kind of relational they have relational data within them, and then they already do it for you in the back end. So you would in essence have two tables and another table here, and then you would actually select what you want to use as your linkage. So as you can see here, we've selected customer demographic, the table, and here we've selected customer spend. It's already highlighting that customer ID is a relationship, and it's showing us there's already a relationship between these two columns because it's already detected it using its AI functions. So that's another powerful thing about Power BI, hence it's called Power BI. It really unleashes the latest technology. However, that's how you would actually create the relationships and then create this unique view or summarized view that you need. So that's how you would actually create a relationship. Let's close that. And then, for instance, if we wanted to create a new measure, for example, within our data, we know we have customer spend. If you open that up, it says monthly spend. So currently we've got monthly spend per customer. So what if maybe we wanted to create a new measure? You can actually also say quick measure, but we just want to test it out and say using the DAX system, we want to say we want to create a new measure. So for example, we would then say, looking at our data, we want to sum. So we want to sum, we actually want to get a total amount or total value of the customer spend. Then we close our bracket. So as you can see, that's the code. So we said sum, similar to what you would also do on Excel. So that's a nice thing about Microsoft Suite and all them, especially now Microsoft 365. You can use all these skills together where you look at coding using the DAX system. However, it's also similar to what you would actually use on Excel as well. So we want to name our measure to total customer spend. So, and then what we want to do is we want to, we want to put it under the table customer spend, and then it's running. As you can see over here, when you go on this side, you can see the total customer spend calculation now, or measure, that's already appearing over here. So what we've done for this session, we looked at Power BI data modeling, where we first went into the modeling tab over there. And then what we first did, because we had two different tables, we went and validated our relationships. But if our relationships were not automatically connected, we would then connect our relationships, where in our instance we use customer ID as the unique or the primary key for our data. So both the tables now summarized into one holistic view if you had to run a report. And then also what we did, we created a measure as well. So what else you can also do, you can also create a new column. So for instance, if you wanted to create a new column, you would press new column, and then here what you would say, you'd say column, for example, you want to do the square bracket. I want to take maybe age and gender and combine them and create a new column. I want to say age, I want to then say, and we want to then create a space, because now it's going to say maybe 19 and female. So it's going to create that new field now. So we want to now create another square bracket. Sorry, so here We say that, and then we say and open a square bracket. So what here will happen is that it will call out the age. So within this new column, it will take all our customer details within the table and actually give them so for example, if there was a row that had a customer that was 20 years old and they were female, it will then create this new column where we want to call the age, gender. Here we want to type it out: age, gender, column. That's what the column will be called. And then for every customer, the age, gender will then appear. So now we want to commit. It's a text. You can also press enter. It's loading. As you can see here under the customer demographic file, it's actually now has created the age, gender column, or the new field now. So when we're running our report, we'll be able to see this new column coming to life. So thank you for staying with us, and as we've been exposed today to data modeling using Power BI.